For 4.5 billion years, she has been our silent sentinel, a pale, cratered witness to every war we've fought, every poem we've written, and every step we've taken toward the stars. The moon isn't just a decoration in our night sky. She is the gravitational anchor that holds our world together. But tonight, imagine you look up and the sky is empty. No explosion, no debris. Just a haunting, absolute void where our lunar companion used to be. In the first few minutes, the world remains quiet. You might only notice the darkness, a deep, oppressive blackness that swallows the countryside. But beneath that silence, the very clockwork of our planet has just snapped. The invisible tether of gravity has been cut, and Earth has just begun a slow, violent spiral into chaos. Tonight, we aren't just looking at a dark sky. We are looking at the end of the world as we know it. From the depths of the rising oceans to the tilt of our very axis, everything is about to change. The first sign of the moon's absence won't come from the stars. It will come from the shore. The moon is the primary engine of our tides. Her gravity reaches out across the vacuum of space, grabbing hold of Earth's oceans and pulling them into a tidal bulge. As the Earth rotates beneath this bulge, we experience the rhythmic rise and fall of the sea. It is the heartbeat of our planet. Without the moon, that heartbeat stops. The sun still exerts a gravitational pull, but it is millions of miles away. The tides wouldn't disappear entirely, but they would instantly lose 60 to 70% of their power. This sounds peaceful, but for our planet's ecology, it is a massacre. The massive currents that circulate heat and nutrients around the globe, like the Gulf Stream, are driven in part by tidal friction. Without the moon's tug, these currents would stutter and stall. The oceans would begin to stagnate. Coastal ecosystems, from mangroves to coral reefs, depend on the tides to bring in food and carry away waste. Within weeks, these nurseries of the sea would begin to rot. But for humanity, the crisis is even more direct. Our global economy is built on the sea. Thousands of ports around the world rely on predictable tidal cycles to move massive container ships. Without the tides, the world's supply chains would snap. Shelves would go empty. But as the oceans fall silent, a much louder threat is brewing in the atmosphere. Earth is a spinning top, and for billions of years, the moon has been the hand that slows it down. Through a process called tidal braking, the moon's gravity creates friction that acts as a natural brake on Earth's rotation. It's why our day is 24 hours long. Without that lunar brake, the Earth would begin to spin faster, much faster. Imagine a world where the sun rises and sets every 3 or 4 hours. A world where a day is only 6 to 12 hours long. At first, this seems like a mere inconvenience for your sleep schedule. But the physics of a fast-spinning Earth are terrifying. As the planet's rotation accelerates, the Coriolis effect, the force that creates weather patterns, is amplified to an extreme degree. The atmosphere wouldn't be able to keep up with the spinning crust beneath it. This would generate permanent, global superstorms. We aren't talking about a Category 5 hurricane. We are talking about winds that move at over 400 kilometers per hour, faster than a jet engine, scouring the surface of the Earth. Forests would be leveled. Skyscrapers would be shredded by the sheer force of the air. Birds and insects would be unable to fly, effectively ending the cycle of pollination for most of the world's plants. Humanity would be forced underground, living in bunkers to escape a sky that has become a constant howling weapon. If the 6-hour day is a nightmare, the axial wobble is the death of a planet. Earth currently sits at a stable tilt of 23.5 degrees. This tilt is the reason we have seasons. It ensures that the sun's energy is distributed across the planet, giving us predictable summers, winters, and harvests. The moon is the only thing keeping that tilt stable. She acts like the outriggers on a canoe, preventing the Earth from tipping over. Without the moon, Earth becomes a chaotic rotator. For thousands of years, or even much faster, our axis would begin to tilt wildly. Imagine a world where the North Pole suddenly tilts directly toward the scorching sun for months at a time, while the equator is plunged into a permanent, frozen night. Then, a century later, the planet tips again, and the ice caps melt in a matter of weeks, sending sea levels screaming upward. In this scenario, there are no seasons. There is only climate chaos. Agriculture would become impossible. How do you plant wheat when you don't know if next month will bring a heat wave of 50 degrees Celsius or a blizzard that buries your city in 3 meters of ice? Life on Earth evolved because of the moon's stability. We are a species of the steady state. Without that lunars, we are a species of the steady state. Without that lunar anchor, the Earth becomes a wobbling, unstable rock, tossing its climate back and forth like a fever dream. While the physics of the planet collapse, the biological world would be drowning in a different kind of crisis, the loss of light. For millions of species, the moon is the primary source of navigation and timing. Many nocturnal predators, like owls and lions, have eyes evolved to hunt in the silver glow of the lunar cycle. Many prey animals use the light of the moon to find their way to safety. Without the moon, the night becomes an absolute, terrifying blackness. In the deep oceans, corals synchronize their spawning to the phases of the moon, releasing billions of eggs at once in a massive underwater dance. Without the moon's signal, this synchronization fails. Generations of marine life would simply vanish. And then, there is us, humans. The moon was our first calendar. She taught us how to measure time, how to plan our hunts, and how to navigate the trackless oceans. She was our first step into the cosmos. The Apollo missions weren't just about reaching a rock. They were about proving that we were no longer bound to our cradle. Without the moon, our ambition would shrink. Space exploration would become exponentially harder. Without a nearby rest stop or a target for our first rockets, we would be a planet under a dark, empty sky, disconnected from the rhythm of the universe that birthed us. So, what if the moon suddenly disappeared? It wouldn't be a quick explosion. It would be a slow, agonizing transformation of our planet from a paradise into a wasteland. We would realize too late that the moon was never just a cold rock in the sky. She was the guardian of our tides, the regulator of our winds, and the anchor of our season. We live in a delicate celestial balance, a cosmic coincidence that has allowed life to thrive in a universe that is largely hostile. The moon is the most visible part of that balance, a nightly reminder that we are part of a much larger machine. Next time you look up at the night sky and see that familiar silver glow, don't just see a moon. See a shield, see a clock, see a stabilizer. Because without her, our blue marble would be a very different and very lonely place to call home. The moon doesn't just illuminate our nights, she ensures our tomorrow. And, as always, keep wondering.